As much as we hate to admit it, bugs tend to be something that find their way into all software applications, whether it be a desktop application or a web application. These can be annoying and difficult to track down. However, having good bug reports helps the developer both find and fix those bugs much faster. Unfortunately, getting a bad bug report can make tracking down that bug very difficult to find and fix. What we're going to show you is some actual bug reports that have been sent in and how we can make them better. The first example I received not too long ago was, I think I deleted the internet. Now, I'm pretty sure that you did not actually delete the internet. You can't go through and delete the internet. Most likely, you probably misconfigured something. However, this is not something that your web developer should handle. This is something that your local IT help desk, or maybe the help desk with your ISP, your internet service provider, ought to be able to help you with. The internet is down. Once again, this is something that probably hasn't actually happened. It's more likely something that's misconfigured on your port. Now, sometimes you might think that your website is down and you need it fixed. The question is the website actually down, or is it just you? There's actually a website out there. It's called www.downforeveryone.orjustme.com, and you can put in your website address into the box here where it's listed. Is it down for everyone? And click on or just me. It'll go ahead and check to see, is it just you and the website is actually up, or is the website actually down? Now, sometimes we'll get this message and it's just one or two pages that have an issue. So don't go and think that the entire website's down unless you've checked multiple pages and you've checked down for everyone or just me. Instead, try to be specific and say page, and get the page that is not working. It is broken. It's not displaying. Whatever you might need to. The home page is wrong. We need it fixed now. Now, what is wrong with the home page? Unfortunately, we have not been told. It could be anything from it's not displaying and there's an error message on it, to it's not displaying the right information. There's a page that's displaying, but we may not know that it is or is not working. So please make sure you provide information of how something is wrong, not just that it's wrong. This is a little bit better. They'll sometimes tell us such and such page has the wrong information on it. Unfortunately, a lot of times we don't know what the information is supposed to be. So please make sure you include the correct information as well as just letting us know that it has the wrong information. This one looks a little bit better. The promotion is listed at 15% off, but it should be 10% off. The problem here is they haven't specified what page or pages this error is showing on. Now, sometimes this is a real easy fix. You go into one spot and it can be changed. However, a lot of times the developer needs to go to multiple pages and update the information there. Now, the problem with this is the fact that we haven't been told what page the promotion is incorrect on. So we have to go and hunt, which can take up a lot of time, especially for a large site. The other potential problem is we might go and find the page where we know the promotion is and say, but it is correct, not knowing that it's listed on a secondary page. This especially happens if more than one developer is working on a very large site, which happens quite often. So make sure that you specify if there are multiple pages and which pages that the error is showing on. The media page flash slideshow is on the left-hand side of the screen. It should be on the right-hand side of the screen. This is something that we get periodically. However, a lot of times, this is because of the type of browser that you may be viewing in. Or it may be from a browser and operating system version comparison. So one of the things that we need to do is check to see what your browser is so we can go and test accurately. While most developers try to test across multiple browsers, we can't test every page in multiple browsers whenever a small error comes up. It becomes very time consuming. So one thing that we can do is go to a website like supportdetails.com and it'll bring up information that looks like this. It takes just a few seconds and it finds out and tells us what operating system you're using, what your screen resolution is, which browser you're using, and other pieces of information. You can click on the little copy icon to put in an email, or what you might find even easier is if you put in your name, your email address, and your web developer's email address, click on the Send Details button, it will automatically send the information to your web developer, and they can use this information to help try to identify where the errors might be. This is something a lot of times we get either in an instant message chat or over a phone call. I got an error message. Well, what was the error message? I don't know. I just clicked OK. If you're trying to help us find errors, please don't click the OK button without first jotting down what the error message is. Alternatively, you might want to take a screenshot so that we can see the information. Either one of these two provides the web developer with a lot of information, especially if they're having difficulty trying to identify what the error is. A lot of times web developers will put in multiple different errors so that we can help track them down if they occur. Without knowing what error was generated, we have a very difficult time in trying to fix it. So, what makes a good report? Now that we've seen some examples of some bad ones, let's look at the type of information that goes into a good bug report. The first is to make sure that there's actually a problem. This might involve testing it on multiple computers or checking someone else to see if you can access the page and it's maybe just your computer or just your browser. The second is let us know when it happened. Preferably, the sooner to it happening, the better. So if you provide an error that says, at 2 o'clock I was unable to, that's a lot better, especially if it's 2 o'clock that day. We can go into error logs and start to try to find information. Unfortunately, a lot of times we'll get error messages, and so it says it happened sometime last week, and we're not quite sure what user. This becomes nearly impossible to try to track down. Identify where the problem is. This might be both the specific page or a location on the page if the information is listed multiple times. Once again, be as specific as possible. Tell us what is happening and what you think should be happening. This is where the old adage, it's not a bug, but it's a feature, often comes into play. A lot of times the website may be performing as it was programmed and intended to. However, what you want and what the programmer thought you wanted may be two different things. So whenever you have a message that's not coming up correctly, or you're having something that looks like it might be working, it's not generating an error message, but it's not doing the correct thing, make sure you let your developer know what is happening and what you think should be happening so that the program can be changed to meet your requirements if that's possible. The next is give it a seriousness level. How serious is this error? Is it something small where something's maybe just slightly off color or it's not quite centered? Or is it more serious where it's preventing the application from being used, such as an e-commerce site which can't provide a checkout? Make sure that you label your bug reports correctly. A lot of times we'll get people who list everything as a very serious, when unfortunately it's not. That makes it more difficult for us developers in trying to figure out what bug should we try to tackle first. Work with your web developer. Identify a system. Some web developers like to use a color system where red is a serious level and blue is a minor one, with all the colors in between identifying it. Some prefer a numbering system. I've seen as little as 3 to as high as 6 or 7 to show different levels of seriousness. Make sure you're consistent when you give the information, but make sure it's also accurate. And finally, provide all the information that your developer requests. This can include going to places like supportdetails.com to make sure he knows what browser the error is occurring on, to providing multiple steps, such as if an e-commerce site doesn't allow you to check out, but it only doesn't let you check out with a certain product, we need to know what that product is that's causing the issue. The more information you can provide, usually the better. Don't write it as a long novel. Keep it concise, but keep it complete. If you follow those steps, you'll be providing a good bug report for us, help us identify and solve problems much faster. You'll thank us and we'll thank you, and your website will be up and operational much faster.